Alright, so I just came back from watching Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and I'll tell you now, I actually did like this movie. Now, by all means, it's not a perfect movie because there are some parts in the movie and some of the comedy that didn't land for me, but overall, it was a good movie. Now, about the parts I didn't like, now it's hard to talk about them because of spoilers, but because this is a non spoiler review, I don't want to spoil it for people, but I'll just say this. There are some parts in the movie, like little parts here and there, where the comedy and some parts it came off a bit too dumb and way too wacky to what they were trying to do. It was a little bit cringe almost, but most of the movie was actually pretty good, and most of the comedy I would say did land for me. But yeah, most of the movie was pretty good except for those little parts here and there. But that's all I'll say about that without getting into spoilers now. This movie is actually very fast paced and it jumps straight into the action. Like, it doesn't waste any time. So yeah, there's a lot of action in this movie. Now, I'm not saying that this movie was rushed or anything like that, because I think it was well paced enough. But this movie does jump you straight into the action and immediately engages you into the movie. Like, what I mean is that there's a lot more action scenes in this movie compared to the first two. It's a lot, it just jumps straight into the action, and there's way more action scenes and fighting scenes in this movie compared to the previous movies. Now, about the action scenes, they're actually very well made here. Very well animated. The CGI looks really good as well. And I have to say this. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I'll just say this. The third act of this movie, the fight scene of the third act of this movie is so Dragon Ball that what Dragon Ball Evolution ever was. If you see this movie, if you've seen this movie and you've seen that final fight scene, you can't tell me they cannot make a Dragon Ball movie, because the fight scene, the final fight scene is really good in this. It's really good and very Dragon Ball. Like, it's definitely inspired by Dragon Ball. I'll put it that way without spoiling anything. But it's like very inspired by Dragon Ball. It's very Dragon Ball, I would say, because it's like they fight everywhere. Like, literally, the third act of this movie, that final fight, literally turns this movie into a Dragon Ball movie. That's how well it is. Yeah, that's literally what happens in the final fight. It literally turns into Dragon Ball. So yeah, like, it was very well made, very well. The CGI looked really good too in this. We look really, especially during this fight, the CGI looked really good. Also, the fight was actually very hype as well. Like, I'm sitting there, like, I'm getting hyped, it's almost like I'm watching Dragon Ball in a sense. So yeah, the fight scene was really good, the last fight scene. Now, when it comes to the story, now I think the story was well paced enough. But yeah, I think the story was written pretty well. I did enjoy the story. This movie is all about Shadow. So you get introduced to Shadow very early on, and you know who he is and why he's seeking revenge. Like, even at the start of this movie, like when Shadow first wakes up, like the first part of the movie, he's very menacing, like, because he's like this superpower being that woke up, because he's supposed to be the ultimate life form. And yeah, he's like very menacing when he's going through all these soldiers and he's just going through everybody like they're nothing. Right, so he's like the way the camera shot is, the way the CGI, the lighting, like when Shadow's eyes turn, like the goldish color. Yeah, he's very menacing at the beginning of this movie, and then soon enough he does clash into Sonic and his team. And as the movie goes on, they do tell you like what happened to him and why he's doing what he's doing and why he's seeking revenge. Like, the way Shadow is written in this movie, it's very truthful and very faithful to the game storyline. It's very faithful to the games. And not only that, all the characters, they're actually truthful to the way they are in the games. Now, you can tell by watching these movies is that you can tell not only the actors, but the crew behind the scenes as well. You can tell that they do care about the Sonic IP. You can tell because they love the Sonic franchise. You can tell because the way they write this movie, the way they direct, the way they make this movie, there's a lot of heart behind it. You can tell they really care about this franchise. You can tell big time. Because here's the thing, right? And I'm pretty sure you guys know this already. When it comes to adapting a video game to a movie, it never goes well. It never goes well because they want to, when they do this kind of movies, they want to make it their own thing. Like they change the characters, they change things around where it's almost sometimes it's unrecognizable in sometimes, and they change the character too much. It's never truthful to the actual games. Now there are many movies that they've adapted from video games, and it never goes well. But when it comes to this, we've had now 3 movies of Sonic, and you can tell they do care. They do care about this thing because they're very truthful. They're very faithful to the games, and the characters are the way they're supposed to be. They didn't add anything. They didn't change anything. So yeah, you can tell to the actors, to the crew behind, or everybody working on these movies, you can tell that they do care about the Sonic franchise. They do care. Oh, and I just remember this. Do you guys remember what happened when they first showed the first trailer for the first movie? Do you guys remember that really ugly Sonic, the really ugly Sonic design that everybody hated? Do you guys remember that? What did the developer say when they got all negative feedback? They came out and said, we're going to fix Sonic design the way the fans want. So they actually listened to the fans. No other developer would do that. No other filmmaker, no game developer, no will never do that. When they get negative feedback, they always act high and mighty, right? But in this case, if you guys remember, they came out and said, we're going to fix Sonic's design. They said that. And they did, and we got a good movie. And now look, we're up to the 3rd movie now, and it looks like we might actually even get a 4th movie. Because the thing is, what I'm hearing with this movie is that it's not only liked by the fans and very positive feedback they're getting, but also I think they're making a lot of money as well. I think it's like, I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but I think it's actually beating Mufasa right now in theaters, in the cinemas. So yeah, it's actually beating a Disney movie. So you make a good product, that's what happens, So, but yeah, you could tell they do care about this franchise. And it was a good movie. Like, this movie was hype. Like, I liked like most things about it, like all the action scenes, the story that they told, the way they portrayed all these characters. The music was pretty good. The visual effects, the special effects were pretty good. Yeah, it was a pretty solid and a fun movie. Now, by all means, it's not a perfect movie, but it is a fun movie, and it is a good movie, but not a perfect movie. Yeah, I liked it. I'm definitely going to buy this when it comes out on Blu-ray. 100% going to buy this on Blu-ray. Oh, and I do want to mention something before I forget. There's actually 2 end credit scenes. There's a mid-credit scene and there's an end credit scene. I just want to let you guys know that, because I know there's a lot of people that do walk out before that as soon as they see the credits. So I just want to let you guys know that there are 2 end credit scenes. Now, there's the mid-credit scene. That shows what's going to happen in the next movie, like a teaser what's going to happen in the next movie. And there's also an end credit scene. Now, I do recommend you watch both of them when you're watching this. When you see the ending, wait to see both of them. But I would say that the mid credit scene is a little bit more important. But I just still recommend you wait and watch both of them. So I just want to let you guys know about that. So now, do I recommend this movie? 100% yes. Go out and watch this movie. If you're a Sonic fan, and not only, I don't mean like a hardcore Sonic fan, even if you're a casual fan, you're gonna love this movie. This movie is actually pretty good. Very faithful, like I said, to the Sonic franchise, very faithful to the games. You're gonna like this movie. Especially like this is also Shadow's story. So if you like even Shadow, if you like that story, yeah, you're gonna like this movie. So yeah, if you're a hardcore Sonic fan, or you're a casual fan, or you do like Sonic, you're gonna love this movie. I do highly recommend you go out and watch this movie. Now, I do know that there's some people out there that do like Sonic, but they've not seen any of these movies yet. If you're one of those people, please go out and watch all 3 movies. You're gonna like them. Like I said, it's very faithful, very truthful to Sonic, to the Sonic franchise. Yeah, go out and watch these. They're actually pretty good movies. Now, if I could rank them, I would say this one is my favorite one. Then the first movie, Then the second movie. That's for me. That's the way I like them. Now I know some people might have might be in different order, but that's how I like them. But yeah, I do like all of them. So yeah, they're pretty good movies. So I do recommend you go out and watch these movies. And yeah, go out and watch this one. So yeah, that's enough from me. Like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. And yeah, thank you for watching.